contact!
How deep can you plunge into the darkness?
Through the dark veil of space, time.
I wish we could have joined you sooner.
This is Warp Chatter.
Time is short. There is much to be done.
The wait ends now.
All right, we are back once again at the Eye of Terror Studios. This is the Warp Chatter podcast, the podcast dedicated to talking about the Horus Heresy Legion's digital card game, Horus Heresy lore, Warhammer 40,000, all that encompasses. I am your host, Scuff D. This is a podcast by players for players, and we are in the Eye of Terror Studios, as I've said. Typically, the Crab co-host Axel Main is with me, but I believe he's been lost to the warp this week. He may or may not be able to tune in. We'll find out as we progress, but we're going to proceed without him for the time being, and maybe when he does return, he'll have an additional appendage or mutation. Would not surprise me. But in his stead, we have got two guests join us today to talk about the Night Households. First off, we've got Pirate Lahie.
Man, you had it better last time.
I know, I almost had it last time, and I cannot recall what I said.
Well, you had it better. Well, yeah, it's all good, man. Thank you. What's up, boys?
All right, and we've got Dole7.
Hello.
All right, hello. As I said, we're going to be talking about the Night Households. This is the faction focus faction spotlight series. In general, it's an unaligned faction that has got a lot of opinions based on it, some good, some bad. Everybody's got a hot take. Most people have got a strong feeling about them, one way or another, for good reason. I think there's plenty of good reasons to have a strong opinion about the Night Households, but we finally got here and we had to do it, and we've got two people willing to step up and talk about the big old weapon bastards. So before we do that, before we get into that though, let's have you guys introduce yourself. Kind of, you've both been on the podcast before, but kind of reintroduce yourself. Say where you're from, what you do, what got you into Legions. Anything else you feel like mentioning? We'll start with you, Pirate.
All right, so I'm Pirate. I've been here, I think, three times, I think is the right thing. I'm the leader of Masterclass. I've been playing the game for over 2 years and a half now, maybe 3 years. Not sure exactly when CAF came out, but it's been some time. So yeah, it's great. If you're talking about my relationship with Knights, I'm actually the first player that ever got War Master with Knights, and I know there's a lot out there, right? Like, I guess we'll get into that later on, but there's a lot of people that play Knights with top levels, so yeah, that's gonna be fun. But just been enjoying the game right now. Lately, I've been doing some content as a YouTuber and Twitch streamer, so check those out. But that's pretty much it for me. Nothing new on my side, boys.
Okay, all right. How about you, Doles?
Well, I am, as you might know, I've been on the podcast once as well. I am a tournament organizer by EG. I very much recommend joining those tournaments because they are very fun and good, and you can get great rewards. I'm also a member of MC. Funny thing,
Scott, just before you go on, you said we might see Axel join in. You got lost in the word. It's almost like, a treasure, like a treasure chaser. I don't know. You're just like, right. Are we gonna find him or not? Like,
keep your eyes out.
Are we gonna find him?
Listen for the tinkling of crab legs. You might hear him, and when you do, be the 10th caller.
Exactly. It's just like we might see him or we might not. People thinking it's like we might find him at some point during the podcast.
It's a where's Axel open spread. There's just a bunch of like crabs on a beach, and one of them is him and the word bearer on it.
Yeah, find the Canadian crab, eh?
Well, yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's the Eye of Terror Studios is a fickle beast, and sometimes we're recording. I think for us, it's in the post meridian or the PM, as it were. But for Doles, it's like 3 a.m. So he's hardcore, ready to talk about Night Houses. He woke up for this at 3 a.m. and he said, "This is the first thing I do today. I talk about the Knights." So let's get into it. The Night Households. Yeah, the Night Houses were added with a very interesting expansion in general. The Angels of Caliban, or Defenders of Caliban. I think it was just Angels of Caliban was the expansion title. It had the Dark Angels, had the Defenders of Caliban, and then had the Night Households. And you had two regular okay factions, both not working super strong, and then the Night Households came. They came with a second energy source, which history has shown us with the Thousand Suns was not a great start. But on top of that, they had a lot of powerful stuff, primarily the flame cannon, which just was running amok for a while. And I know a lot of people were turned off by the game in general, just by the knights and how powerful they were as they were seeing them more and more. And it took a while. It took a while for people, I think, to adapt, because number one, it was a completely different playstyle. The knights have got weapons. They've got weapons that are separate health to the warlord, but when you heal the warlord, the weapons recover too, so you can actually get some longevity out of them. And if you're managing plasma, your second resource, you can do some pretty interesting, weapon combos. I'm not a fan still to this day of swapping weapons and using multiple weapons in the same turn, but it is what it is. The Knights have...
The build up to the release of Night was, I don't know if you remember, that was pretty weird. It was really bizarre because we had not everyone knew we were getting Dark Angels, right?
Right.
And then we had a lot of leaks to our Defenders of Caliban. And then after that, it was very mixed. People saying we're getting a Titan faction, people saying we're getting Sisters of Silence, and then we ended up with Knights, right?
Yeah.
And that was pretty unexpected back then. It really was.
It was, and there was a lot of people wanted to see them. I mean, because in terms of, and I think it's interesting because I really feel like the opinions of Night Households in tabletop are probably the same. Stylistically, they're really cool. Their weaponry, I mean, they're just powerhouses in the game. You can do some really great lore and heraldry, and you can, custom your knight chassis, as it were, your build, your war gear, for that, and kind of it really looks like a set piece. And the faction, when you're playing it, your warlord is the set piece. That you've got a couple of supporting troops that help make your warlord do his thing. But the execution, the way it kind of came out, as we started to see more cards spoiled, and then on release was oh, plasma. Oh, please don't mess this up. Oh, we've got weapons that can fire repeatedly, and look how easy it is to generate plasma. That's not going to be a problem.
Oh man, if we're talking on the start, you're totally right. I know y'all remember, especially I know me and those went hard on the last, because they got released on the very last week of November. I guess I think if I remember 2020, right? Very last week of
I believe that's so.
I think November 22nd or 23rd. So basically, 7-8 days from the month.
And at the start, it was just so intense. But honestly, I really when we first came out. I remember the initial reaction when they first came out. People were like, "I'm not sure," because there was a lot of interrogations about how the weapons interact, how you build up your knight basically. Mm-hmm. It was very bizarre because on the event as well, back then I don't think we had draft.
Right, that was before draft. Correct.
Yeah.
That was sorry. Yeah.
Go ahead, Dose.
Was it after? I think it was draft already.
No, because we didn't have draft until January of 2020.
Let me check.
Or February of 2020. So yeah.
I'm really not sure. In my mind, what I remember, I don't think we did. And it was really hard at the start. But after I think 2 or 3 days, people picked it up so quick, man. They began to be so dominant. It was actually so ridiculous.
I mean, most people, when we saw the faction, we already knew that it was gonna be fucking broken. It was no matter of how fast can people collect it. So it was everyone on the event, so they can collect the cards.
Yeah, and I mean, if you have out the gate, if you're just looking on the surface, I think some of the cards that drew people's attention were the cannon for the 10 energy, deal 10 damage for 3 plasma. That's crazy. That's a game ender. But then you start to look at the stuff at the lower end of the scale that was really Like, oh, flame cannon, deal 2 damage to everything, and if something dies, can act again. That won't be too hard to do. Battle cannon, 2 plasma for 3 damage, as you see fit. And as people realize that, like, oh, you can just swap these out on the fly, and it's like they've got flank, so you can quickly use them. The close combat weapons quickly kind of got pushed to the side. Like, first strike +1, okay, that's cool. +1 and or +2 till the end of your turn, whatever. Like, why need that if you just blast everything for 2 repeatedly?
If you can just control the board like they do, you don't need to play melee, because basically they have so many board control. Why would you spend your energy or some of your deck slots putting down their stuff that is melee when clearly you have better options? And especially at the start, it was so insanely broken that there was no point in playing melee at all. There wasn't.
No.
When they came out, I think you guys remember when they came out, it killed about 90% of the game.
I agree.
I mean, 90%. Like, in my memory, because I have very obviously I remember Doles doing top 10 this season. I won War Master on that. I remember the only Warlord ever where I could lose against, like, on a steady base, I would say, was Perch Rebel. Mm-hmm. And that was back then when Perch Rebel was 6 damage and pure burn, Right. That was the only one. Only one back then.
I mean, even Perch Rebel wasn't, in my opinion, wasn't that great against it.
Well,
he was the one with the best chance.
He has the best chance. Because he could potentially take out a weapon before you could heal it and gain more use out. I mean, the amount of heal or shielding or protection that they have. Also, there's so many factors that go in there, but it was unseen. Because we were typically, you're like, oh, I got rid of that troop, I don't have to deal with it. Or I got that troop down to 1 health, so he'll just trade and it'll be done. But you get to 1 health and then they heal for 5, and now it's out of your range, and then they can use it for another 2 turns.
Yeah.
And it took it still takes people sometimes, where they have to remember that the Knights have a bunch of healing. They've got the healing that just goes back to their deck. Not to mention, if they've got other troops in their deck, they're healing and now removing stun because it's something that they need to have. That was another factor that threw people off. You stun the Warlord, but their weapons can work? What?
Mm-hmm.
Archmagos also used to heal 5, which is
strong. Yeah, it was a 5/6 too.
Yes.
It was a fucking 5/6. Jesus Christ, man, that was an insane troop.
Yeah.
I remember because I don't know if you remember, but they fucking shared that that troop in the reveal video, and people just saw that and were like, we're not exactly sure what weapon to do, but a 5/6 that heal your warrior for 5 is insane.
Yeah. And I think if I recall correctly, he was the legendary that was included in the deck that went on sale that weekend. So it was
crazy.
It was worth picking him up. As far as legendaries go, and we might be getting a little bit more into the card pool, but as far as legendaries go, in my opinion, he's the top legendary to have. There's no reason not to. You don't do Hellrider, which is a shame. I actually like getting Hellrider in a Crucial Choice card, because for other Warlords, it sometimes can be pretty fun, and it gives me 2 0 energy draw cards. But for Knights,
Yeah. It would be kind of nice if it was for other factions. It's 3 energy gain, Winter, and 2 cards.
Right, exactly.
It would be nice. It would be better as it is right now.
Yeah. The 6 energy, they're pseudo hard removal, where basically you take control of a card and then put it in your hand. And that's okay. It really just takes something off the board. I've only ever played maybe, and even though I have it in my Knight decks, I've only ever played that troop that I've stolen maybe 2 times, and it's it just doesn't happen. Typically you're just taking it off the board. That's all that tactic does. And then you've got
It really depends when you're playing Knights, right? Because if you're playing Knights when Horus was super popular, well, you just steal Targus.
Yeah.
Or you just steal, and then you play it back, and obviously Targus is a big deal against Horus. So any troops like that, any troops that is super good early, I'm talking Argus Brawn from the War Leaders, I'm talking, Targus, I'm talking all those broken-ass legendaries that don't cost too much, 4, 5, or 6. Mm-hmm. That's a good pickup. That is a good pickup.
Yeah.
In my opinion, what's very important to say about Usurpation is that it doesn't trigger Backlash, which is very strong in my opinion.
Yes.
You have to pay 1 more than Outflank, and doesn't do anything else, and it's just a more expensive outflank. But sometimes, for example, it can remove Death Shroud, or
Defense Force or something like that. Yep. Yeah, it's a great way to get rid of those things. And I mean, and then you've got the last cannon, which I think doesn't see play as much anymore. And I don't know if that's entirely because of drilling sight nerfs, because I feel like the game in general has kind of shifted to a faster pace. But drilling sight was also a thing too, because drilling sight at the time was giving you 2 free energy, regular energy, that then you could use to play other cards, to draw cards. And they had a lot of other tutor abilities stacked on their cards that were giving them plasma and drawing a card. You couldn't keep a night hand empty, like, to save your life. Like, they were going to get tools and get them fast.
Of course, and that's the crazy thing about them. They basically add the burn of pre-nerf almost 1,000 Suns, and they have the cycling of the Raven Guard. You put that together, that is pure crack, my man.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it is ridiculous. Back then it was crazy because they would never run out of card. They would draw their whole fucking deck. Yeah. They would burst you down so much, it was just like I said, on release, 90% of deck died. Instantly. Yeah. It just fucking died. Didn't stand a chance.
Yeah, also I think what we didn't mention yet is munitions depot.
Yes.
And this munitions depot decreased energy costs on rally, not any entry relentless, not on relentless.
Turn to play is like, all right, like, if you don't get rid of it, I'm going to be able to play these weapons cheaper. And yeah, that was a big change. Like, that was a necessary change. I think that card was too strong as it was and it came out.
Some stats came out, and I think, if I remember correctly, Night Houses were the most touched Legion when they were talking of how many changes they got, how many times they got touched over the last year, and I'm talking 2021. I think they got touched a total of like 6 or 7 times. That is like pretty intense when you're thinking about it. It's over 12 months, right?
Yeah.
You're touching a faction for seven times in 12 months? That is insane. That is. And when you think about it, before that, when there was a stun or whatever, they wouldn't be stunned. And before that, Flame Cannon wasn't nerfed. Then they nerfed Warlords. They nerfed everything they could nerf. And even now, still dominant. Yeah. Incredible.
Yeah, you had the Warlords who just were giving you free plasma or paying energy so you never ran out of plasma. The Elsbeth, cool character, but like not compared to the other warlords that are out there. The guy who just can create his own weapon, and then when they add the 4th warlord who can just draw a weapon, which is still his ability, like they're very strong. They have the changes that they got. Like, yeah, they got a lot of changes, but they were little changes. They weren't never complete. It felt like okay, you changed 2 cards or 1 card. Why didn't you touch 2 or 3 of these other cards out here that we know exist? And I think the approach, because it was never really clear or upfront from Evergo, but I think their approach to Night Houses and balancing them compared to how they balanced the 1,000 Suns out the gate was they were trying minor adjustments to see if that would be enough. And I just don't think it ever, like, the House Macabius is still bonkers. It lost draw a card after it took 3 patches before they finally took away that draw card. It's like, but
that was this summer. This summer, dude.
Yes, exactly. That's how long it took. And it still does +4 attack, and there still is, other cards. It's crazy. It's crazy the stuff that they've got and that they haven't fully had changed. And at the same time, for me, the only change that I kind of disagree with, and I know a lot of people don't, is I didn't have a problem with the weapons working if the warlord was stunned. I know it was confusing. It was definitely confusing to players, but it made sense to me that the pilot wouldn't be able to use its ability, but the weapons could still operate and fire on some sort of trigger, pulse. But when you've got a faction, because unlike any other factions, and there are mono warlords, there's Angrons, there's Karns, there's Kurz that you can play the whole deck and build up, just around one warlord, and they suck when they get stunned or they face a Mortarion. But that's an option. That's kind of not the requirement, whereas the Night Households, that's it. Like, what are you going to do? Like, hope that you draw that Archmagos and he actually sticks around and he's the guy who wins the game for you? Are you going to have your servitors do all the work? Like, no. What's winning the game for you is the weapons and the knight. And if the faction is designed to support that one powerhouse, and if you are stunned now, your powerhouse is out. Like, if he faces like Hail Decima, that's it. You will not use any of your weapons. You will not use anything. Like, as long as they continue to repeatedly stun you, you might unstun yourself 2, maybe 3 times a game if you've got the right cards. But that's it. Like, you won't have anything else really doing the work, that clearing the board. You're not going to have that 1/3 dude clearing, a Doombringer. That's not going to happen.
While I understand where you come from with this, I must disagree to a point where it is right that if you're getting stunned every turn against Decima, you're totally right, it's going to be hard. But while it is a thing, you won't see a warrior that stuns you constantly be very popular. This is why it doesn't matter that much.
Well, I
think the stun of their weapons while they're stunned is a good thing, because it actually gives you the ability to deck your deck a little. Like, let's say I want to play, Parch Rabo. I want to play Parch Rabo now with the new cards, with the Iron Rot Smash, which, basically stuns and unit basically on the number of troops, number of units, friendly units you have. It actually is good, because you want to put maybe a stun in there. That works great, and you're not going to do it for 5 times in a row. But, when you need to do it, you can actually do it. I think that's a very interesting take. I understand where you're coming from, but I think it was a necessary change in this way.
I think it's also because only before the stun change, mostly burn and aggro decks counter knights. So that's what people, if knights flared up in the meta, people started playing more burn and aggro, and a lot of people had enough of that, I think. And some people, I think, would rather face stun lock than aggro and burn.
Well, and that kind of was tying into my thought there. Part of that is because the decks that do run control and stun are not prevalent as much. They're just not, because the game itself has really put them to the back burner. When I say control, I'm not talking about Raven Guard. I'm talking about like the classic Alpha Legion that actually could stun effectively, like every other turn or every turn if they really want to. Games where you can actually lock them down. The Alpha Legion have been relevant for a long time, but if they can't at this point. They've got some great cards from the new Galaxian Flames that I have fun with them, but the speed of the game and the warlords that are out there and the damage that's being done, they're not on par with that. They can't compete with that. So if they're not in the equation, then that lets knights continue to do what they're doing. If they were in the equation, if they were part of the equation, if the Alpha Legion were to get a buff, or the factors that are keeping the Alpha Legion non-existent were to diminish, that people started playing Alpha Legion more, or another style that allowed for repeated stun, Knight households would, and that's a meta argument, right? Like, one comes up, one goes down. Like, that's just the way it is. And right now, it works that it's okay that it doesn't affect the Knights as much, because it's an option, but they're not facing stun all the time, because stun isn't always in the games currently. But if it was, I don't know. And I don't know if anybody would really complain if the Knights were not in the game either. If people were playing Knights, I don't think anybody would cry about it.
I would say that, right now, Alpha Legion, in Galaxy of Flames, Alpha Legion is not that great. But I think before that, before the changes to Emperor's Children and Ultramarines, Alpha Legion was somewhat prevalent.
We did saw quite a lot of the build with the Serpent Squad.
Yes,
we saw that quite a lot.
With Exodus,
I agree.
Right?
Yeah, with
Yes.
Exodus.
Yes,
but again, it's that's the thing, okay? So if we're checking the timeline of Knights, okay, so they came out on fucking end of November. I know for a fact that they won every single month up until, I think it was, correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was May. Up until May 2021, 2021.
Wasn't Big PP War Master?
No, he did it with
March?
Knights. Knights, most of the months with Knights. Ask him. He did it with most of the month with Knights. So up until May, because back there, Crow, actually, I don't know if you guys remember, but the Steelhawk, they used to be fast and stun, right?
Yep.
And back with the new trolls that got released, that's the month that Crow was really intense, like dominant, right? So, and then she won that particular month, and then for the next 3 months or 4 months again, we actually got more knights up until Solar Auxilia was nerfed. So you're talking about approximately 6 or 7 months, where within that there was like six months of knights at the top. That's nasty, man, and that's not without a reason. It was so good, and they tried to touch that faction so much. I think at this point, at least not half, but maybe a tier, like a good tier of the one of 3 cards got nerfed or changed for sure, easily.
I'd have to take a look because I know they've had, and they're not all radical changes, right? Like a lot of them are just minor changes. I think probably the most radical change really is just Flame Cannon. Like I feel like everything else just lost draw a card.
Yeah, but Flame Cannon really needed that change.
I'm not disagreeing with that. Yeah. I mean, there was games where I'm like, I was playing. I don't know how many games I had where they would have like a shielded 8/8 troop, and they have a 10, a 7/7, and like just with one turn and like using Flame Cannon and like one other card, I could clear all those things. And meanwhile, their warlord took like 6 to 8 damage while I'm doing it. You know, it's just like, and what? You gonna play that again? Because I can burn it all down. It was ridiculous.
It's crazy.
It was ridiculous.
Crazy. Hey, back then, okay, when I won War Master, okay, I'm not kidding you, okay. When they came out, I didn't buy them right away. I didn't buy the crate to get them. I didn't buy it right away, okay. I was like playing Araman and Layak at the time. I was like, I don't think I have to buy Knight crates to win it, right? And then within, I think it was 2 days, some Russian guy caught me up on first place. Well, he didn't, go ahead, but he caught me up. Like, I'm talking, I was at 5K, okay? At 5K, he did like 1,000 points in 2 days without almost no losses. I was like, man, I need to step up my game. I bought all, with all the gold I had, and I didn't have Vibrony nor Graviton Cannon back then. Both those cards, after buying all those crates, I didn't have them. And I still added like crazy 85% win rate. That's how broken they were. How stupid it was. It was stupid.
Yeah.
Graviton wasn't needed at that point because Knights could easily kill before 10 energy.
Right.
Way before 10 energy. Or even if they drop the munition strip depot, you just had them by like turn 5 to 6 most of the time. I mean, I can share I have my deck pulled up, what I used then I can put it into chat if you want to see it, for example.
Yeah, I agree with you. It wasn't needed back then, but just to show how, like, it's still a great, like, even it was still a great card. Graviton wasn't needed, but it's still an amazing card. You know what I mean? It's crazy that it wasn't needed to go and win a season.
Right.
Think about it. You got a card that is deal 10 damage right away, and if you got Virony, and back then there was a combo with Draining Sight and shit, deal 20 fucking damage. Insane.
In one turn.
Insane.
Yeah. Those deck is all 0 through 4 drops here with just like, the House Bacabius and the Flame Cannons.
Yeah, that's disgusting. That's disgusting.
It is.
Yeah, that's a top 10. That was a top 10 deck.
Yeah, draw
and then because it was
damage.
focused on killing knights, and that's what all it did.
Disgusting. It really is. But actually, and you know where I must put the emphasis on that. I'm pretty sure you guys would agree. But what gave the knight even more power, and I think they'll always remain that way probably, is when the Gravewalker came in, the fucking cool pirate guy that I love. I love the voice line, I love his art, I love everything about it. But when he came out, we were playing the event. You remember the other guy? Do you guys remember the other guy?
He was the front line for them.
Mm-hmm. Frontline one, people were saying, the frontline is so good. I was like, guys, the frontline is not bad, but you have a warrior that is literally consistency, Yeah. It's his name. He will consistently pull the shit you need from your deck. I was like, this is why when it came out, I played the shit out of it, and it was like another 80% win rate with that guy. It was ridiculous. That just made the Knights even better.
In my point of view, I think people wanted the frontline warlord because they didn't want that warlord, because most people knew, I think, that the Grey Walker was going to be broken.
Yeah, I mean, anytime you've got a toolbox warlord, it's just that just exemplifies or like amplifies everything that the faction does on demand. I like the legendary pilot a lot from when they released, because I like the fact that he, using his ability to create weapons, you could technically build a deck that didn't have any or very few weapons in your deck, and you would always have ability to access weapons, which actually would allow you to free up like maybe 5 or 6 slots to put other supporting cards in. But once you get a warlord who just like, why create them when you can just draw them from your deck and get them even faster? Okay, well, I guess that's that's a way to go.
Yeah, definitely. And that's another thing. When you got a guy like this, then you just basically all you have to do is just reduce a lot of the weapons, and you're basically sure that you'll get the good ones early on, which is like battle cannon and blast cutter, right?
Battle cannon, blast cutter, flame cannon. You're good to go.
Oh yeah, I would also add has Orlac, the card was really fucking strong.
It was broken before,
yeah, because it didn't give you a random weapon. It gave you a random weapon from your deck, a copy of it.
Yeah, so you could have like extra battle cannons. Like,
fucking 4 battle cannon, dude, in your whole fucking game. Jesus Christ! Like, holy shit, that was insane.
You got rid of my battle cannon. Here's another one. Here's another one. Here's another one. And then you just
ending.
And then you just have like 6 shot because you play it, fire it, play the other one, fire it, play the other one, fire it. Why not?
Yeah, I mean, even has fire only because you can shoot for 12 if you have 2 battle cannons up, and it's early. It's available so early game, and the House Orlok Knight's ability only used to cost only 1. So you gained 2 plasma for 1 energy, which is a really good deal.
Yep. They were never going to run out of plasma, and that made it very easy. I think their plasma generation in general still is pretty consistent, pretty reliable. I don't think they've changed the plasma cost for any of the weapons, actually.
I think you're right. I actually think you're right. I don't remember any cost of the weapon being changed.
No, we've had cards that had like they lost the draw card or the way that they create a copy of the weapon. But I think in terms of the generation, the only card that's changed the generation of plasma was the pilot, the Orlok pilot. But in terms of like everything else, they generate plasma exactly the same as they always have. And I mean, I'll say this, because it's a second energy source, and they've got a lot of other tools that can use it very well. But I do feel like the plasma generation as a resource was used better from the get-go with the Knights than the Thousand Suns. It felt like it was like there were not too, and part of it is a problem because of like how quickly they could just fill up their hand and never run out of cards, which are always going to give them plasma or other tools. That's a secondary problem. But in terms of like if you're just playing the game and you're playing, what you've got in there, and you're firing your weapon 2 or 3 times, but you're still considering, okay, I'm going to be generating 1 plasma, I can get 2 more, I'll be able to fire that weapon again next turn. Your opponent doesn't know that, but you do. Like, it makes you think about that management of that resource a little bit better, I think, than the Thousand Suns from the get-go, which was just like, my warlord's going to be making 2 Psyker, and I can use his ability for free if I need to, and, like maybe I'll throw City of Light on there, but it doesn't really matter because I'm playing all these neutral cards, because nothing except for this, Astral Warfare is going to be using my Psyker, so I just always have to have 8. Like, that's not the case. Like, you use the plasma a lot more effectively, I think.
Well, I would say that, like, I somewhat disagree with that statement, because with Knights, plasma is practically free. So you have to spend very little, you don't have to spend a lot of energy on it, on generation. I mean, Favored of Mars is 4, but it gives you 2 reactor, which is much stronger than Thousand Suns generation.
Yeah, if you get a Favored of Mars on, that's better than City of Light, for sure.
Yeah, way better. And I think, and Knights don't even use as much plasma as Thousand Suns use psychic energy. And I disagree. I disagree because with Thousand Suns you have to pay a lot more attention to psychic energy than to plasma with knights.
Well,
And
now
you
you
have to
do.
manage
Yes,
much,
now.
much better. I mean, even on release, I mean, yeah, it was practically free too, but like, it still was. I mean, yeah, on release, yeah, but release sounds were broken. Like, but like, knights are still not fixed from that standpoint. Like, you still don't have to be careful what you spend your plasma on.
Oh, of course, but like that's crazy because I just checked it out and Scuff was right. Like the only weapon that got ever changed was the flame cannon. No other weapon got any changes.
But that isn't good. That isn't good in my
No,
opinion.
I know, but that's my point, right? That's my point. Like no other weapons got touched but the flame cannon. None of them.
Yeah,
Battle cannon and glass cutter need to be touched, in my opinion.
they do, or at the very least, like if they want the melee option to be an actual option, they need to be increased a lot. I think if the 3/5 priest, I don't know how you could fix him exactly, right? But like if he could make it so that your las cutter didn't fire for free, that'd be nice. I think three plasma for 3 energy from the battle cannon would make sense. Like it's just a 1 plasma change up.
Yeah, I agree with that. I mean, in my opinion, las cutter, the fix to las cutter should be that it increases the plasma cost increases by 1 every time you use it in a turn, and it only increases for 1 turn, of course, like Fafnir's ability.
Right. Yeah, that could be an option. Or
there's many ways it can be changed.
Oh yeah, sure. I mean, well, and that's the thing. Like, I mean, if they did a dive to fix the weapons, I mean, we could say, yeah, battle cannon and las cutter because we're tired of seeing them, and they would, but it wouldn't just have to be them. They'd have to fix the other ones to make them more attractive or to give a different option than what they currently have. Like they've got, yeah. Because otherwise,
play the Magna las cannon.
Yeah.
Play the Magna las cannon. I want it to be good.
Yeah.
It's bad. I want it to be good. I want all those to be more interesting, but I don't want them to be broken.
No.
It's a very hard thing to balance, you know?
Yes, exactly. And I think part of it, and the one thing that I've always kind of was interesting was that all the weapons are like the same health. Like, I mean, like if you had lower health weapons with higher damage dealing capabilities, and you had weaker weapons with like that would be a natural balance.
That's a good idea. That's actually a really good idea. Make some more popular weapon maybe less big, and make some other bigger or something else. And yeah, that's actually an idea I could go behind for sure.
Yeah, if the battle cannon was 5 health or 6 health. I mean, 6 health might be too much still, but I mean, like, big difference.
6 feels I mean, that's actually a good idea. That would be a thing that I think people like. Obviously, a battle cannon should be weaker than a fucking graviton fucking bullshit cannon, right?
Right.
Like, obviously.
Well, on top of that, like if you've got like those utility, like the melee weapons, they should have more health. They're slamming and slashing. The chainswords should, like, if they had more health, and then you get more use out of them, maybe you'd be a little bit more. I still think they need a little something more to make them interesting, but that would be a big difference. Whereas, like, I play this battle cannon and it's gone the next turn, versus like, hey, I play this melee weapon and it's on there for like 2 or 3 turns that I'm able to get first strike or +1 attack or whatever you're using. I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there's something in the code why they have to have the same health number across the board or what. I don't know.
I mean, it's basically just a single card. I mean, but I don't know. Yeah, I don't think they have to.
No, yeah, it would be interesting. I mean, but and that's part of the problem. Like, there's so many things with the knights that are still the issue. The weapons themselves, all of them, like, there's 3 really good ones, a bunch of not so great ones. Maybe like you might put one in your deck just because it's a catch-all. Even then, I feel like you probably wouldn't. You're just going to rely on something that generates.
Yeah, of course. I mean, I think putting some weapon. I think the only 2 or 3 weapons that you put in deck are las cutter, battle cannon, and flame cannon. Maybe craft cannon. Mm-hmm. But I'm on the fence about that too. Then those are the weapons that you will put in deck, and because like it dilutes your deck a lot if you put in
and
cards,
those and those weapons are the most consistent, like, of all the things. Like, you can get them on early, great. They do very well against everything. Like, it's not like, oh, you have stealth? Doesn't matter. I can flame cannon that. I can last cutter. It doesn't matter that you've got stealth or precog or ward. Cool, great, not a worry. Battle cannon, I can take your warlord. I can take that troop. Like, they're just really versatile, and they're really versatile out the gate. Why wouldn't you take them?
Yeah, and I mean they have like some cards like Ocular Augmatics, which is one of the strongest stealth reveals in the game, in my opinion, which basically removes stealth and draw 2 cards, which is for 3 energy, I think, really, really strong. For basically 1 energy, remove all stealth plus resupply.
It's crazy, and actually, I think honestly that they're more versatile than people think, and we got the proof of that when the Solar Auxilia got out, right?
Yeah.
Like all they needed, like when you were playing that deck, I'm talking Solar Auxilia Knights. All you needed were like those 4 weapons, which was the battle cannons and the last cutters, which like the temples. I'm talking the Arch Magus, and, all the good ones. So maybe 10 cards off of Night Houses, and the rest was all Solar Auxilia. And that's it. That's all you needed. That's all you needed to win, because Solar Auxilia was broken back then. It was really good. Yep. And those guys were just even better at controlling the opponents. The opponents of Solar Auxilia, right? Like, Jesus fucking Christ.
You're taking the best of both OPs, putting them together because they can, because you have the neutrals. Why wouldn't you? Yeah,
you just create the super OP.
So
it's just like that. And back then, the only way I thought about fighting them and winning was playing Korax back then. I'm talking this summer, because there was so many troops I could just stealth a lot, right? So just stealth, Reckoning, and by that time, you probably can just lethal him, right? That was the only way I thought that it was very, like a consistent way to win, was playing like Raven Guard back then. And they were in the OPS now. But yeah, it was crazy. I remember, and yeah, Storm Armor was a fucking thing back then.
Yes, 4 across the board. And it's still, it's still 3 across the board, guaranteed to, kill at least one thing and deal 3 to other things, or all of things, depending on where it's at.
It's still good.
But 4...
Still good, it's just...
4 was just
I think you just nerfed... Yeah, no, go ahead.
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, the 4 damage, like, 1 extra health, a lot of troops.
Yeah, and not just that, I think, like, the overall nerf just make it, like, a lot, because back then, Strategic Mercenary and all of that, it would make it a lot cheaper with all, like, it was better.
Yep.
Well, just like, this is why now you don't see it anymore, but it's not a bad 10 drop. Like, there is a lot more, there's a ton of 10 drops that are shit, like, a lot more shit than the Stormhammer.
Yeah, it's actually one of the better 10 drop neutrals in the game. I mean, honestly, because it has a rally effect. That is actually a really, potentially potent rally effect at the very least.
Definitely. It is one that is actually good.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it was significantly better. Yeah, I think 1 damage to that ability was a big change, because it repeats most of the time.
Yeah.
So yeah.
It was really good. I don't, like, right now we're seeing... Well, we see a bit less of Knight right now. If we're talking right now, okay? Like, if we fast forward all the... like, we're talking about...
Right, we're getting all
but
past the past.
Yeah. If we go into right now, right? Like, if we focus the discussion on right now, currently, I feel like there's... Obviously, we saw it last month. They're still great, right? But with the change to wolves and stuff, in my opinion, it just makes them a little less... you don't want them... They're not going to be all great against the wolves, because ward is a thing, and because they're kind of an aggro faction, which means if you're playing the 30 HP one and you don't have a great start, which can happen, it can now that they lost most of their cycling, even though they still got a lot, you can go behind really quick and lose, because ward is a thing, right? So right now, I still see some. I was streaming today, I did see some of them, but not as much as before, right? So right now, they're still in a good position, obviously. And they'll always be here unless they get some changes. But I don't think it's as, oppressive as it could be.
Well, on top of that, like you said, like, ward is a thing. And the biggest thing for the Space Wolves against the Knights, like, what do the Knights have to answer Jortan Starker squad on curve?
Same cannon, because you will go second against all Space Wolves as the best Taurus chassis, but you will be on 4 energy on turn.
So that's it,
Yeah.
though, right? So you got to have it, and you got to be able to be Questoros. So you got to have 30 health against the Space Wolves.
Exactly.
And
This
then,
is why it makes them
still,
less attractive.
and you still have to hit it for 3, and then use the flame can. Yeah, it's.
This is why the buff to Space Wolf makes them less attractive.
Yeah.
Obviously, they're still really good. They will win against. They will win, of course. They will win, but it makes them just a bit less attractive, just to the point that we see them a bit less often, especially in rank. Like we don't see them as much as last month, but obviously they're still great, and they always will be, of course.
I hope they're not always great. I mean, I'd be fine if they took a breather for a couple months.
Well,
they did
from September to maybe December. Like remember, September was the salamanders.
Salamanders.
With Survivor.
Then we had the Ultramarines in October.
Yeah.
And then we had the Emperor's Children in November. During those 3 months, I did not see knights. Maybe once every week or so, but I didn't see them.
See, and that's the thing
Scott.
Yeah, I saw a couple nights, but most of it, where I'm at, I'm just playing practice. So I see everything, so it doesn't matter. Like, I don't take it on the same account. But I remember hearing people say, like, oh, I haven't seen Knights. But it was like, there was no reason for it during the Emperor's Children. And then somebody just started playing Knights again, like, oh yeah, they still win. Like, it's like people stopped playing them. But they forgot that, like, oh yeah, these things still win. Why did we stop playing them?
Oh, yeah. Play Knights, yeah, I still lose. Fuck you. Fucking goddamn it. It just be like that with Knights sometimes, but and that's quite a shame. That is quite a shame that they have the current reputation they have. Because honestly, I like the design. I like the idea of you have a warlord and you can equip stuff like, well, in other card games, maybe they're called artifact or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I like this idea. I like this idea a lot. I just wish it was implemented and maybe doing it a bit more interactive. Because right now I feel like it's just, you drop a troop, I kill it. Oh, you drop a troop, I kill it. Oh, you don't drop a troop, I'll just kill you instead. Fuck you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you don't interact with anything really. You just go pew pew. Right?
Yeah, it's a different kind of, like, you've got your deck, but then you actually have an inventory management as well, and then you've got, like, how are you kidding out to do, like, yeah, you've got a warlord who's got a pay 2, deal 2, alright, that's a bolt pistol, is that a sword, and here you actually have got, like, here's the weapon that they're using to deal 2 or deal 1 to everybody.
Definitely.
Another thing they would say they needs to change is the structures, because they have a shit ton of. I mean, they have 5 or 6 structures, and all of them, most of them. I mean, only the plasma generator is even, because I think worth using now that Neora is out, because Neora just makes the 3.6, the relay station, just obsolete, because Neora is just better.
Yeah. Like they
that's true.
That's true. I mean, like, I like the fact that you've got I like the fact, at least, that the relay station, even though it's not as good as the Solar Auxilia Legendary, I like the fact that you could at least use it to draw a card. Like, that was cool, but it's not like you needed to draw cards with it.
Yeah, but it's a 3/6 that can only, the only thing it can draw.
It can't attack. It's not going to do anything.
It can't attack, and it can be Megatort. I think that's really bad. I think structures need to be removed from the Megatort pool.
Fuck me, I'm not gonna lie, guys, I totally forgot about the structure in that faction. Like, I remember the one that used to reduce the cost of weapon, but I totally forgot there was a 3/6 that was making tactics cost more, and there is, like, and right now I'm looking at the cards right now, there's a plasma regulators, there's a fucking patron forge. I forgot about all of this, except for munition depot.
Yeah, because it's used as, like, people just save what they need to nerf, because it's a strong faction.
I totally forgot.
Half of their cards.
Well, it's like
their cards
Wardens of the Forge was, like, such a cool concept, but, like, you never play it. Nobody plays it. I've never seen it played. Yes. It comes on too late, and then what are you gonna do? Like, oh, all right, I got a couple structures that aren't doing anything, like, major for me this late in the game. Like, thanks. Like, I would love. I would love to see the playstyle. Yeah.
Like, for example, let's say Emperor's Wrath. Like, it doesn't really. It is even unlikely to give you, like, a good deal for your energy. 8 energy is for
right. The one that makes that drops the three SRDs cost 4 or less.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it's fucking trash. Personally, I know some people like it. I think it's fucking bad as shit. But
I'm not saying it's good. I'm just comparing Unshakable Fortune to it. Even though that's a bad card, Unshakable Fortune is even worse than that.
Mm-hmm. I don't get it. Yeah, no, I totally forget about those structures, but I agree. Man, making a playstyle a bit more around these and stuff, that wouldn't be a bad thing. It would be it would actually be interesting, because there's not a lot of faction that do that, except for stupid Diaz that basically do nothing but that.
Right.
You know,
and
like that.
Yeah, on top of that, like you shouldn't have the structures be necessarily offensive for the Knights, because they're the whole lore is they're marching on behalf to protect, these forges. They've got alliances with the Mechanicum they get supplied, and they do they keep the lands safe, basically. So it would be cool to see that as a playstyle where maybe they're giving them shield, like as a resolution, your warlord gains shield, or, draw an extra card, or whatever, besides just create plasma, draw energy, make a weapon. Like if they had a couple more effects that were a little bit more worthwhile, especially later game, to maybe have those on table and protect them. That doesn't mean that it would be again, going back to what currently makes the Knights win has to be taken away in order to make anything else even remotely attractable. You still have to take battle cannon and flame cannon and las cutter and plasma.
Flame cannon is alright. Flame cannon doesn't need to be pushed into the ground even harder now.
Well, I see what Scuff's saying, man. Honestly, that's not just this faction. That's the problem. You want to do something different on a faction, but you need to make it attractive so that it's actually winnable, and you don't have to pull out a crazy end to be able to do it. And that's not just Knights, right? If they buff structure, is it gonna be even good enough so that we consider playing a structure build over a burst build like we're currently seeing? That's the problem. And that's not just Knight problem, that's the problem, right?
Yeah, I get that, but I just said that the Flame Cannon, the single card, that doesn't need to be changed anymore, I think, because that's...
right
now.
Yeah, I agree.
That has been nerfed enough.
It's like that, but...
Dolzen rising to the defense of Flame Cannon. It's okay.
Flame Cannon's alright. I don't have a problem with it.
Where it is now...
around it as well.
Yes.
Flame Cannon is very much balanced, in my opinion.
I agree. If it was as it is now on release, man, I don't know how long it would have taken before we would have gotten other patches to the Knights, because I think that was the only reason that they got touched as quickly as they did. And when I say quickly, I think it was a month or two before we actually saw Flame Cannon adjusted. I feel like it was a month.
2 weeks.
It was less than 2 weeks.
Was it?
Right after the season end.
Okay.
Right after the season end. Right, because I remember that. I won the season, and then right after the season end, I'm talking 3 days. 3 days into the new season of December, they nerfed Hardak, Allshore, or
right.
I'm built to last. No, we're built to last. That guy, and then they nerfed Flame Cannon. I think that was the only nerf they did.
That was it. It was a very small, and all their touch ups again have been very small. I think there was one that had 4 cards in it. But
I think that was a stun one, right? That was the one they made it that when you're stunned you can't play weapons.
I don't know.
After Solar Exilia.
I feel like it was with the Archmagos, if he was included in that, maybe. Yeah.
I think it was included in that.
Yeah,
I'm talking
that's
this,
the one.
The Stun, and the Als Macabius, and I'm forgetting another card. But yeah.
Overtext Reactor was not.
Yes, Overtext Reactors.
The was
draw a card.
Away.
Right.
Man.
Crazy. And
there was also a patch in the spring of 2021 where they nerfed House Orlac. The card,
Yeah,
they did.
Yep. Where
what else?
It was no longer making a copy, right? You had to you just chose a weapon.
Yeah, now it's just choose it.
Yeah.
Right, and create a copy of it. That's it. It didn't change any warriors, which is pretty super. Even then, I don't know. Well, we can go into that, I guess, but I'm surprised. I actually thought they were going to have a 4th chassis. when they when they were going to release a fourth warlord. I thought it was like, I'm excited for maybe a fourth chassis, like something that maybe exactly like structure focused or maybe melee focused. I was like, that could be cool, right? And then it never happened.
No, we just got the pilot. Yeah.
And I hope that I don't know about you guys, but I hope that in the upcoming expansion this summer, I hope to see some maybe cool chassis that is different. Why not?
Yeah, I think there are two chassis that are still not in here. The Armature one, which is like a really small knight, which is, it's basically, I think it's almost dreadnought sized. It's very small compared to the Questoris chassis.
Okay. But one of these would be interesting.
Yeah.
I don't know, like get one that is different. Let's go.
Yeah.
Well, the thing
other one.
Oh, go ahead.
The other one is the Domitus. I think that's its name.
Dominus.
Let me check.
The 3 a.m. brain does not compute.
He's got
the Dominus. Yeah, the Dominus pattern, which has that's the one with the shit ton of guns, which has like the insane amount of guns on it.
All good. Man.
And I think another one that the Dominus chassis has basically a ton of gun slots, and I think it would be an interesting thing for that chassis to have 4 weapon slots instead of 2.
Oh, that'd be interesting.
Jeez. That'd be really awesome if you think about it. Imagine the combo you could do. Really.
I don't want to imagine the combo.
Yeah, you don't want to.
No, that's true, because all 4
That's
slots.
too juicy. That's too juicy.
It is. It's too much.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's too much, because you usually don't use more than 2 weapons, and if some weapons like the Scatter and Battle Cannon get nerfed, and like you don't have that many weapon slots, and I think it would make the melee route with that knight easier, but the ranged.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Do you think we would see new weapons added for their faction?
I think you need at least one. Just like when they did Thousand Suns. When they did Thousand Suns in Galaxy and Flames. Yep, they did one. I think they did one, right?
Yeah.
One new Psycho. I think they need at least one new weapon. But then, like I said, I think maybe add more structure that are actually viable. Like, that actually made the Uncheckable Warden, the 8 cost, right? Like, put 2 Night Houses structure from your deck in play. You roll against frontline until your next turn. Like, maybe drop some new structure that actually work with that tactic.
Yeah. Well, and if you had maybe if you had the frontline warlord that as the 5th warlord, that would help reinforce that build. But also, I think and it's kind of get into the chassis thing with the pilots and the chassis. If we got a new pilot and a new chassis, you technically are getting 10 new options in there, depending on how you pair him with the other chassis and how the other pilots get paired with that as well. It would depend on what it does, but it would really open up some stuff.
It's nice. I like options. I think that would be pretty cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Dolls, you want to finish your sentence?
Oh yeah, sorry, I didn't realize my fucking headset's just
3 a.m. brain, buddy.
No. So yeah, I think the 4 slots wouldn't be that strong, because all 4, when your warlord is hit, all 4 slots get damaged. So I think, if Knight, like the weapon health, is get nerfed, I don't think it will be strong at all.
Yeah, that's possible.
I see it.
I think the thing to go with that too is you'd have to have 4 weapons and play them all.
Yes.
And then it would
be fair to use all 4 slots.
Yeah, so if you had all 4 slots, how often would you actually use it? Versus playing, because then also you can't play more troops, right? You can only play 2 troops.
Well, if you reduce the health of weapons, but also their cost and maybe the ability or whatever, if you reduce the health and cost of weapons, maybe you can combo off into that, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like that's if you use your idea, Scuff, then we put it with those ideas. You can actually do something that could work, but it needs a lot of balancing. I'm talking like 15 cards.
Right.
Like a shit ton, a big rework, right?
Yeah. They need it. Yeah. They need nerfs and buffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it needs to happen. I agree. A rework would be good. I will never say it again. I will never say that enough, but I really like what they did with Thousand Suns. I wish they could do that with some other faction. And Knights could be a good idea to do it. Just go ahead, go around fucking 15 cards and just look at it again. Just, do it. Fuck you.
Yeah.
Well, and the data
Also,
shows, like these, it's not like the look wouldn't be like, warranted.
Yeah, no, that makes sense. But I don't know. I feel like Knights they're a tricky faction to balance, and we've seen it over the past year.
Yeah.
It's been now more than a year that they've been released in. They changed the game considerably. They made for like half of last year War Masters. That says something, of course. Like, of course, rank isn't everything, but it does say something, right? Like, it's not to be discarded. Like, if you get like half of a year of the guys using the same faction, you know that this faction is clearly a good one, right? Mm-hmm. Otherwise, they wouldn't use them, right? I wouldn't have used the Knights if they weren't good. I wouldn't. I was playing Lahie and Araman, and then that Russian guy almost come and fucked me. So I was like, well, guess I'll just become a Knight as well, eh? That was just the way to go. Are you still playing Knights a bit, Scuffed, or not much these days?
Knights? I don't. Yeah. I'll do the Knight household either for a challenge, like you use energy on troops because it works for the challenge, but I don't like to play them a whole heck of a lot. I mean, I played the Maccabeus pilot guy. I think over 100 games, and it was really fun. Before we got the fourth warlord. Once we got the Orlak warlord guy, it's like I mean, it works, but I feel really chintzy doing it. So,
well, one deck I really enjoyed being crushed by. Actually, those is right here. It was one of those deck while he was using an actually melee build. All he was doing is piling up plasma, nothing else. Pile up plasma, and then on turn 8 or 9,
Claw.
8 or 9. Yeah, Hectagon Claw, and the other one where act again when you kill something, Battle Honor, and this fucking hit me for 35 HP in a turn, man. I actually really like that build because it was pretty funny.
That's
right?
funny.
Like, you don't see it coming. Like, it doesn't work on everything, obviously, but it works sometimes.
Because it gets cleaved too, so that's going to trigger the Battle Honor.
Yeah, it was fucking nasty. Yeah. Nasty shit, those bastard.
I mean, it's fun, but it's really inconsistent because of you usually cannot generate, you cannot stack up enough plasma to win most of the time. It's very rare that it works.
Yeah, it's very niche. It's very niche, yes, for sure.
Well,
that's all good
with the warlords as far as they go. Talking about the when I say warlords, I guess in this instance, pilot and chassis combo as like a 2-for-1. What would you say is your favorite 2-for-1? Like, what's your favorite combo?
Who's starting with me?
Yeah, we'll start with you.
Okay, well, obviously, I won War Master with Orlak, so I have a special. He has a special place in my. Like, I'm not talking to chassis. I'm talking to pilot. He has a special place in my heart, but I'm still gonna go with Gravewalker just because the voice line. The artwork, that guy looks like a fucking porn star from the 70s, right? That's pretty cool. Like, he looks great. Like, it's awesome. And I will go with also the chassis, the Orlak. So I'm going with Kinrak, Gravewalker, and Cerestus Orlak. I don't like the other chassis. I just like Cerestus Orlak, and I'm going with the Gravewalker. That's the one for me. I just like those. That's a good combo.
Well, I mean, I would say Orlak is I prefer Orlak because of like the voice lines. I like the Orlak on Orlak's voice lines more than the Gravewalkers. And I mean, to be honest, in lore and like on tabletop, I don't play tabletop, but like I really don't like how the Cerestus chassis looks. Like, it's just too skinny in my opinion for a mech. And it like kinda doesn't fit the design that well, in my opinion. That isn't 40k and 30k. And well, yeah, I would say that the Questoris chassis is, I think, better. I mean, I like it more.
So Orlak with Questoris, interesting.
Yeah.
What about you, Scuff?
For me, I like Mr. No Neck. Quite frankly, and that's mainly Mr. No Neck. I like Questoros Maccabeus myself. What's his name? Markon Rotham. Say
that again.
Yeah, Markon Rotham. Yeah, I think
that's good.
I think
You got it. You got it. Dude. You got it.
He's saying it as if like somebody is like got his neck in a vice. But no, I personally, the reason I like it, and I kind of talked about it before, is like I just like the deck building options that he does, in the fact that he can create weapons, and you're not always going to get stuff that you're going to need, but like, man, I don't know how many games I'll just play and spam shields all game long because he can keep making them. Why not? And I like the Questeros because it starts with the extra energy, even though it's like low health. Like I played that combo way more than I played him with any other combo. And I just had more fun with it. I think Gravewalker is as far as like most effective, best. Yeah, Gravewalker I think has got better stats for me, but I have more fun with the Maccabeus dude.
We haven't talked about the lore at all, but I just want to put a side note here that I absolutely love when knights show up in Warhammer, either 40k or 30k books. Like it's always good, and it's always nice too, because since it's mostly about individual, right? Like, it's always about individual, like the pilot, right? Like, the chassis is a thing, right? And the house is a thing, but it's always almost on the pilot. I like these stories around them, how they interact, and you never know if they're going to be, traitors or loyal to the Imperium. It's really one of those factions I like when they add it to a story. I think it adds a lot of depth and a little twist, It's something I really like about this faction in this setting.
Yeah, the Knight household lore, it's like a weird combination of like Titan, princeps, kind of that elitism. It's a feudal society, but it's not just an honor, but it's also kind of like it's a burden as a knight, as a pilot for a knight, but it's also not a guarantee. Like, you might not match up, and if it doesn't match you with knight chassis, if it's a one-on-one, you don't have a crew, if that doesn't match up well, you could be scarred or traumatized or just not work effectively. There's been a series of stories, mostly tying in with the same like 4 or 5 characters, knight household pilot characters, leading up to like Vengeful Spirit, the novel Vengeful Spirit. And I kind of painted a good picture as far as like not only just like what it is to be a knight, and you've got the weapons and like the honor, but then also the weird like family / like I don't want to say infighting, but like politicking, and there's treachery, because it's all that, like, even within like sibling versus sibling, or father versus son, because there's a level of prestige, and the only way to get it is to take it, or to sabotage or dispose of a rival. So it's interesting, and at the same time, it still ties into to the 40k setting.
Definitely, it is such. I like this a lot. Like, whenever I read a book and they show up, it's always great. I like it a lot. I wish we could. I don't think there's a lot of book focus on them. Like, I mean, like, I'm talking like main character. Like, there is
right.
A lot.
No, it's a
whenever there is
sure.
like. Mm-hmm. I don't think I've ever read one. I don't think I've ever read a book where they're like the principal, like they're the main character. I don't think I've ever did. If anyone has a suggestion, just hit me up. I love reading those books.
Yeah, the closest I could recommend you would be Vengeful Spirit, and even then, they're like one of several characters. There's
I read that one. I read that one. It's pretty good though. It's pretty good.
Yeah, that's a good one.
And even that, like that, I mean, in the lore, there is like a 10% chance for knight initiates to die in the ceremony where they get their knights.
Right.
The throning ceremony, I think that's what it's called, or something like that.
Yeah, where you get cyberjacked into your chassis and hope that it accepts you, and you work together. The machine spirit. Is it even a machine spirit for the knights? Is it something different?
I think it depends. I think when you're if you're asking the Mechanicum, they will say machine spirit. But I think if you ask most house vassals and stuff, I think it's just like like that's their family thing. And I think most of the Mechanicum don't fuck with them unless they ally with them. Like, it's a very I need to read more into that. I'm very interested in that lore.
There are Mechanicum knights that basically just knight houses just sell. pilots and knights themselves to Mechanicum, and like they get like, for example, the Hecaton Claw and the lightning cannon is mainly used by the Mechanicus.
That makes sense too. That makes sense that there would be some knights that ally themselves with Mechanicum because obviously they got the technology and the resources, right? But at the same time, it makes sense that there are others that are like just like we focus on our planet and we help the Imperium, not a particular faction within it, right? Like we help the Imperium and fuck everyone else.
Yeah, and even through the heresy, I mean, like in the same way, like some declared for the War Master, some didn't.
Yeah, like the Gravewalker. The Gravewalker, I think he got conquered by Horus, like the sons of Horus. I don't think he was the son of Horus back then. I think it was the Luna Wolves. So I guess they got conquered by the Luna Wolves, and when Horus went and said, "Fuck you, the Emperor," they went, "Well, we'll just go with you because
he's the guy we know.
You conquer us." Yeah, he's the guy we know. So, and that makes sense too when you check on the narrative, like a narrative perspective. It makes sense too, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Great, great stuff. I look forward to maybe seeing more of them, but it's pretty cool.
Well, we were talking about the I guess they're top cards. I mean, there's a lot of like not great or top cards. We've talked about the same weapons over and over again, but if you had to boil down like your 3 favorite cards or 3 high recommendations, what would you say? I'm curious if they're all the same.
All right. I mean, I feel obviously Archmagos is really good. I will also Tech Priest Adjutant is like an MVP card. Like I put them into every knight deck I use because they are just so strong. And I think, I mean, yeah, they are strong, but like they are not. They still need the weapons. So they are kind of useless by themselves. But if you have weapons, they are crucial,
right?
Especially with Last Cutter. And I would say Hecaton Claw, of course, because it's just a fun weapon to use.
All right.
The first one is I gotta go with Archmagos Dracovac or Dracovac. I don't know exactly how you say it, but this one, the art, it's all like for the art, just for the art alone, it's my favorite. It looks cool. We don't have enough of these. They look awesome. The ability, obviously, just amazing. One of the best, if not the best, 5-drop. No, I forgot. Targus is a thing.
Yeah,
but yeah, one of the best. So this one first, I would say, Dan, I absolutely love the Tech Priest. We don't have enough Tech Priests in that game. I think we should have more Tech Priests. Tech Priest is my second one, and for my third one, I would go with Gravewalker. Like the guy, the voice lines are great warlord all around. Just awesome. That's pretty much for me, man. What about you, Scuff?
Well, I think Archmagos is in there too for me. So I think that's across the board. We all can agree on that. Like, just as a solid period, like card to include. Lore-wise, like he's a strong supporting unit. I like the Martian Emissary. I like the idea. I like the Blanche art, and it's just a utility. Like, here, surprise! It's a low guy that you have to get rid of because I'm going to bounce him back and just get free plasma, and it's just plasma with a body. For the third one, honestly, I don't know. It's a toss-up for me because I like playing a little differently. I don't know if I would. You know what? There's like 3 different ones I would choose from, and it depends on my mood.
Hit me up with those 3. Hit me up with those 3.
The 3 is Ionic Flare Shield, House Aethergon, and the Sidon Protocols. I like the Sidon Protocols. I like the fact that it's basically Forge Complex with healing.
Oh, okay. I was about to say, what the fuck is Sidon Protocols? Yeah, okay. I just saw it. Okay.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with that just because like that's fun, and sometimes I throw that down. It's like you never know what you get. You might get some more Pi Alphas. You might get Doombringer. You might get some Mogators. You might get shit.
It's not bad. Yeah, it's not bad.
You cannot get Doombringer because it's infantry.
Oh, that's right. It's infantry. Yeah, you know what though? There's some good infantry there. 12-8.
Yeah, of course.
There's the Keltor. No, what the fuck? The name of the
Coriel
with
Coriel,
that one.
And they can get Forge Master.
Infantry is better than all Mechanicum cards.
Yeah. I think the Mechanicum in general have got the best neutrals, in my opinion. I know KS has got a lot of utility stuff, but it just like when it comes to the troops, like period, I think Mechanicum is just superior.
I mean, I think Imperial Army have some great troops too, like Kai, Malkiel, Drewback, Neora, Les Rifle Section, Wallstones, etc.
I think those are, but I think it's hard to judge, boys, because all decks are going to use maybe some other stuff. I think it's really hard to judge.
Yeah.
But I would say it's between Imperial and probably Chaos. Like, if you're asking me, like, Mechanicum, they ain't bad, but I've only used a lot of their stuff, personally. Like, they have some good stuff, obviously, Drilling Sight and shit, but, I don't know.
I mean, Payafa,
right?
Secretary, Axiarch, and Magator are the 3 good cards that you would use. And of course, Drilling Sight.
But you've also
So I
got...
think that's pretty much it for
And see, for me, though, like, when you're generating free cards and you're generating the possibility, they have a lot of frontline stuff, too, which is nice. Like, generate frontline
Yeah, it
options.
can be envy.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can be very envy.
If Sidon Protocols was changed to heal, and instead of Mechanicum infantry, it generated Mechanicum frontline troops, it would be way better.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Because you're guaranteed to get a smaller pool, and, like, the worst that you could get would be that 1-3 dude.
Yeah. No, that's a good question. But I think all faction, at least, we get to have a few good cards.
Yeah.
I'm honestly, though, I'm still a bit mad that they didn't do anything with the Mechanicus, like, no traits, right? Like, Imperial Infantry got their fucking Sword Auxiliary, which is awesome. Like, I really like playing a Sword Auxiliary build right now. I enjoy playing a Cultist deck as well, and then Mechanicus got nothing.
I'm wondering.
I guess we can get Dark Mechanicum.
We might.
I mean, we could get.
Yeah, we
Dark
should.
Mechanicum the next
We
time,
should.
next
We
expansion.
should. I'm super sad that we didn't get them in Galaxy in Flames. That should have been a thing.
I mean, to be fair, Galaxy in Flames was already, I think, the biggest expansion yet.
Well, it was, as far as, like, it's broad. I mean, like, it was every Space Marine faction. It was all the Astartes. All the Astartes factions, the Legions. I mean, we don't have Knights, we don't have Orphans of War, we don't have Custodes, we don't have Defenders of Caliban, we don't have Sisters or Agents. Like, those will come, and in that time, we could then maybe, because that's actually smaller, like, if you actually take what's left that doesn't have new cards yet, that's a much smaller pool. That kind of leaves me wondering, are we going to get another faction in there? Whether it's a Dark Mechanicum faction, or it's a, as of yet, like, often pitched factions are like a short list, right? Like the Cabal, Titan Legions, maybe Tzeentch, which still doesn't thematically line up because they weren't really involved in the heresy. That's actually part of the lore. That's why we don't see them, but they, whatever, like, we're just pitching a faction here. Like, that's a possibility. Maybe.
I mean, we are not getting Xenos, that's for sure, because, like, EG stated that clearly, that we are not going to get Xenos.
I don't think we should.
Future.
I don't think
we shouldn't. Yeah, I think this game is good with only humans.
No, yeah, you start adding Xenos in here, like, I don't know, like, you're not playing Legions. I mean, you're not playing the Horus Heresy. Like, if it was Crusade, if it was a Crusade era game, or if it was a post Heresy era game, sure, bring me all the Xenos. But this isn't the story about the Xenos. Show me where the Xenos are doing things, and in the Heresy, and usually it's either they're dying and running away, or they're just sitting on the sidelines waiting for something to happen.
Pretty much.
I agree. Just making you fucking game.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
If you want to do Xenos and shit, do a new game. That's it.
There you go. Give that to all the people who just hunger for the orc.
Yeah, just go out there and maybe become a member of EG and do a new game. Do it. I won't, cause fuck it. But you do it. You know. I like 30K. I like it.
Well, I think as far as the Night Households go, I mean, we can still go on.
We were pretty focused. We were really focused on that, man.
But we
Holy
did.
Shit,
we covered a lot. We covered
covered everything.
the pros, the cons, the cards. I don't think we did.
We didn't talk about the female knight because there are some issues there.
Sadly, that's true. I mean, we can talk about why she's not prevalent.
You cannot play her in public because her end of game like death sound is just you should.
Oh man, dude, I've got that file saved. What are you talking about? I play that all the time. I got Elsbeth Death. Here we go. Oh, you can't hear it. I can. This is just for me. Oh yeah, I'm gonna do it again.
Damn right. Fucking right.
But yeah, no, I mean, yeah, I play with the sound off anyways, so I didn't know what she sounded like until I downloaded that, and I was like, oh, okay, well, that's fair.
Oh, you're You play with the voice lines off and stuff?
I have all sound off. Even when I'm playing,
Really?
like, on my laptop, I used to, like, have my headphones on. Like, it would go through my headphones, and I just turn it off. Like, I don't want to
Why,
hear...
though?
Just silence. I just like playing silence.
I used to have a lot more people, like, spying me and shit, but now that some guys that we all know who are just not there anymore, I don't have that much problem anymore, so sounds off for me, and it's all good. Sometimes I get a good cheesy line while I'm getting fucked, but it's all good, man. It's honestly fun.
I'll have like some music on in the background, but like the game itself, like I don't need to like hear the voices or the sound effects or anything like that. Like the animation's good enough for me. I play with particle effects on. So.
All right.
I mean, technically, particle effects on can cause problems in game.
I think if particle effects off wasn't an option, there would be no problems.
I mean, yeah, but the game would be significantly slower.
I mean, for you, it's if you're used to the high speed of particle effects off, then yeah, you got to revert back. But
like for example, with Senact, if I couldn't play Senact with particles on, it's just horrible. Every single ability use takes like
fuck
3 seconds for it to complete.
Yeah, that's one of the worst for sure.
Yeah, you wanna buff up like 10 times. Well, you have to play for half a minute because it's particles.
Well, that's why I play when I play or I stream. I just get the liquor in me, and then I don't pay attention to that anymore.
there you go, just roll
all
with
good.
it.
Just go with it, and it's all
Just
good.
roll with it.
Damn right.
Well, when you're not playing Legions, what is it that you guys are up to?
I am. Well, obviously, managing Masterclass is a big task, so I do that pretty often. Obviously, so I manage Masterclass, but other than that, I work a lot these days as a tech priest. It's not a tech priest. I'm a technician in maintenance, an industrial maintenance, so I just fix big ass machine, which, like I said, it's a tech priest, right?
Do you tap it with the wrench and say
well, sometimes I'm not kidding you, okay? Sometimes when I just fix something and you're in a hurry and you need to fix that as soon as possible, I will finish fixing it and I will go like, holy fuck, Machine Spirit, you better fucking work your magic, bitch. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, okay? So, alright, I'm like, okay, whatever. But no, it's I'm all good, man. Just these days, just having a good time. I'm ready for this summer, man. Just going out and stuff, can't wait. So yeah, looking forward to the future, buddy.
Alright. How about you, Doles?
Well, I'm still a student, so I mean, I have plenty of time on my hand, and I usually just play other video games too when I'm not playing Legions. Although I sacrifice. I mean, for example, Warface is basically a free-to-play Call of Duty. That's what I'm playing right now, but it changes fairly often. But I play in the meanwhile.
I just beat Mechanicus, so that was the game I was playing when I wasn't playing Legions. Yeah, really fun. And talking about loadouts, very similar to the Knights, man, that is so fun, picking the gear and the different mechadrites and all your tech priests. That it was really fun. It wasn't just a XCOM / tactical game, but just choosing the loadout for your squad. Every engagement was really fun too. I enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to Chaos Gate. I know I've said that before, but I'm hyped for that because that's going to be fun, especially if it even moderately improves on what Mechanicus did. I think it'll be a really good game.
I've seen some gameplays before, and I look forward as well. Definitely buying it. Definitely buying it for sure.
Nice.
Yeah, but I'm honestly, what I'm looking forward to is Dark Tide. Dark Tide is hyping me up.
Oh fuck, yeah. Dark Tide! Holy shit, Dark Tide, my man!
Now.
I might just drop Legion for a full month just to play Dark Tide with everyone because everyone's looking forward for it. I can't wait. This is going to be the 40k game everyone's waiting for. Holy shit!
Hopefully,
yes.
Yeah. Well, Vermintide's pretty hot, right? I mean, as far as when they came out, if they're gonna have the same success and execution as Vermintide, but 40k.
It's made from the same guys, right? Fat Shark Videos. It's made from the same guys. So I have faith in those guys. They never fucked up type of game. So I believe it will be good for sure. Damn right.
Yeah, also the soundtrack from the release date trailer is really good. And the soundtrack in that is really good, in my opinion.
Stumping.
I gotta say, Warhammer 40k artists, like I'm talking sound artists, they are some good people. Like they are really good at their jobs. Honestly, some games out there that are 40k are such a shit game, but the soundtrack alone makes it. You know, like no, like there's a lot of shitty 40k game or fantasy or Age of Sigmar or whatever the fuck, but they have such good soundtrack, man. It's insane.
I'm trying to think of a bad 40k game that has a good soundtrack. To be honest, I don't have any in mind.
I haven't played any bad 40k, but I also don't play too many games in general.
Eternal Crusade doesn't have a good soundtrack.
I haven't played that.
Like Dawn of War 3 is so unmemorable. I don't remember its soundtrack, so it's probably not great either.
I have not played Dawn of War 3 either. I did 1 and 2.
I did, but I don't remember its soundtrack.
You're not missing out.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. That it's so unmemorable. It's probably not good. If it was good, I think one of us would remember it.
Yeah,
no, that's fair. That's fair.
Yeah, I think I like Battlefleet Gothic Armada 2. It's got a really nice soundtrack. Very, very good.
Oh, dude, it's got a really good one. Man.
Yeah.
That game's fire.
Man, I don't want to play other games.
But there are no...
Well, Inquisitor's got a great one.
Oh,
if you're talking about Warhammer 40k Inquisitor Martyr,
right.
It's got a great one.
Yeah.
Even, I'm not a fan of the game, but Space Hulk Deathwing has got a good one in this. Like, it's got some good songs. It's got some good songs.
What I really like in Deathwing is the voice acting. Voice acting in the Deathwing is really good. Especially
that was one I only played the first mission of. I really wanted to play more of it. It just was like I had 3 other games to choose from to pick in. I went more with Battlefleet, but I think it's a game that I would enjoy more with other people. So
you need to play with friends. You need to play with friends for sure.
Single player is boring.
Yeah, it's like, well, I'm doing all the work. Okay, this is fun. I mean, it's great being in a Space Hulk. I think they captured the setting. All the games that I played, Necromunda Hired Gun, like it's a first person shooter. I'm not a huge first person shooter guy, but man, it feels like you're in the Underhive. Whoever did the level designs really captured it. Like it just looks so good.
Yeah, and the soundtrack of that game is good as well, but it feels more like a Doom game.
It does. Yeah,
I'm playing that game like, oh shit, where's my double barrel shotgun? God, come on, man, where's the rip and tear bullshit? Let's fucking pull that guy's spine from his fucking corpse. Fuck it.
Once that music kicks in, yeah.
Oh yeah, that music really pumps him up, and that's why I was playing that game because I also played it, and I was like, Jesus Christ, that's like just like a Doom game.
Yep.
Awesome. It's awesome. It's still obviously I had a lot of technical difficulties, but overall, solid 7 out of 10, or maybe 6 or 7 for sure.
It's a fair score. It's positive. It's on the positive side.
Mm-hmm.
Well, do you guys have anything to plug?
I can plug Masterclass if you guys are looking for a community or just a place you want to become better and have fun. Hit me up. I'll find you a place if you're motivated. Other than that, if you guys want to check out my content, I am both on Twitch and on YouTube. I upload the cool shit from my Twitch on my YouTube. You guys check that out. And I promise you will be probably entertained. That's pretty much all from me, man. Thanks.
Which is a multi-hosted event. Like they'll at least 3 take place every week. So there is plenty of chances to win one. And the prizes are amazing. You can even choose a legendary card, and it will be added to your account. And it can be any most legendary cards. You cannot choose all Dark Warlords, but you can even choose non-collectible, non-collectible card packs. Like, for example, Sanguinius' Old Art card pack.
Oh, so they've added those to the option mix? Yeah. Nice. Well, I just played in last week's midweek tournament that was the All Alpha Legion format. I thank you, Doles, for hosting that against your will. That was actually turned out to be pretty fun. I don't know if anybody else gave you feedback on it, but I had a fun time playing all those games. Every game was different with Alpha Legion, although I felt like the mission should have been banned just because that was felt like if you didn't have the mission or you played it for second, then you were at a disadvantage. But aside from that, it was a really fun format.
Fucking play tournament, boys.
Yeah, that's it. Do the
Good
tournaments.
for you. It's good for you.
Midweek tournaments give you gold. Weekly tournaments at the
right.
weekend give you gold. But dude,
It will get you. It will get you wives and stuff. Yeah, man. Play tournaments.
do it. Well, on top of that, I'm going to get some sizable goals, like 2,000, 3,000 for first, plus a legendary. And that 3,000 is basically 30 crates, which is another legendary. Yeah.
I'm right.
Yep.
All right. Well, the crab co-host has not arrived from the warp, so I'm going to plug Dornstash in his stead because I feel like it's tradition. We should. Dornstash does art. He's got Instagram, Drew Lee Clark at Instagram. I don't know if that's the right at Instagram, but because I don't have Instagram, but I know that that's what we always say. He's done a lot of profiles, PvPs. He does a lot of custom art. He's a pretty cool cat. He's a mod over there on the Discord as well, on the Reddit. So hit him up. And then, obviously, I'm going to plug deck slots as well, because we haven't even talked about, for in a while, so, it's been a week, about how many warlords that we've got in the game. We're maxed out at deck slots. We're talking about adding another expansion. Should be hitting us up in about 2 to 3 months.
How much deck slots you're missing right now?
I'm full. You mean warlords? Like
No, I mean, like you need more. Like right now, do you have
I need 12 more deck slots minimum.
12?
Yeah. I mean, actually, I need 8, but I mean, they come in rows of 6, so give me 12. Yeah. That's having a slot for everybody. And I'm not even doing, multiple like builds for the knights where I could have 3 builds for the Questoros, the Orlac pilot, and 3 builds for the Macabius pilot. Yeah, that's just a 1-on-1. That's just 4 pilots, 4 decks. We need them. I sent my petition to the community manager, a couple weeks ago. So maybe we'll get a patch in May or June that'll give us a couple of deck slots. But I feel like it's too late. We need them now. We need slots, not squats.
Yeah, always get the slots, eh?
Yes. And as Pirates on Twitch, I'm also on Twitch too, working on that. That's more gaming in general, not just Legions. Trying other games. So check that out. SKUFF_D at Twitch, and you can check out the YouTube channel. Bar Night Legions is the 23rd of this month. That's all I've really got on the calendar. I've got other things going on that I haven't gotten hard dates yet for, like the Steam stream and stuff. So just keep an eye on the channel. Keep your ears plugged to the YouTube and see what develops. We're moving into the summer, so things are going to move fast. So I'm trying to hammer things down on the calendar, but there's a lot up in the air that I'm juggling. So I apologize if it sounds like nothing's scheduled, because this month it really has been. It's tax season. We got a lot going on. There's a lot going on, guys.
Hell yeah.
Expansion should be coming out by Evergood. The promise that we don't have to wait half a year for each expansion. We should be getting the next expansion early June or May to early June.
Yeah, I think that's what people think. Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's about right. And we've got 3 warlords for factions that haven't been added to the game yet. And then we're supposed to have a raid and a Titan event in that time as well, which basically is about 6 weeks to 8 weeks. If you figure one of those is a Titan event. So, I mean, that puts us there.
Damn right.
Yeah. Well, guys, I appreciate you joining us. Doles, I know you woke up for this at 3 a.m. I hope that you're either A, able to go back to sleep, or B, have a great night households day following this call. But yeah, I appreciate you guys stepping up to the plate and willing to talk about night houses, because I sent out the call and there was a lot of people just shaking their head like, no thanks.
Hey man, I gotta represent when I won my War Master, dude, so anytime. Thank you for receiving me, man. I appreciate it, buddy.
For sure. All right, well, everybody have a good night. Next week, I believe we're talking Ruinstorm. So check in for that. We'll be talking about the Ruinstorm unless some groundbreaking thing happens within the next 7 days.
Fucking right on.
All right, bye.
See yous.
The sunlight dims.
This has been another episode of the Warp Chatter Podcast. Thank you for listening.
Eternal loyalty!
Burn
case.
Burn it all! Well executed.